Senator Sinodinos.
Minister for Finance and Minister representing the Treasurer, Senator Cormann. Will the Minister update the Senate on how Operation Budget Repair is progressing?
Order. The Minister for Finance representing the Treasurer, Senator Cormann. Order. Minister, you have the floor.
Mr President, I am pleased to report to the Senate that Operation Budget Repair is progressing well. One budget measure at a time, step by step, we are cleaning up the budget mess that Labor left behind. And of course, this week it is likely that we'll even be able to deal with one of the outstanding measures of Labor's last budget. Because of course Labor is now in agreement when it comes to reversing the second round of income tax cuts linked to the carbon tax. Now, Mr President, we have Operation Sovereign Borders to clean up Labor's mess at the border. We have Operation Budget Repair to clean up Labor's mess with the budget. And of course there is an interaction between both of those operations, because under Labor, when they lost control of our borders, when they lost control of our budget, they imposed $11 billion worth of budget blowouts on Australian taxpayers. Australian taxpayers were forced to fork out more than $11 billion more than they should have because Labor lost control of their borders. As a result of our successful efforts to stop the boats, in 2015-16 alone, in this year's budget alone, we have been able to save $500 million in spending that otherwise would have had to be incurred. Operation Sovereign Borders is supporting Operation Budget Repair, and of course, unlike Labor, which was taking government spending as a share of GDP under the worst finance minister in the history of the Commonwealth, to in excess of 30%. We've been, well, it might be a senator from South Australia sitting across the chamber. Under this government, we are peaking. Government spending is peaking at 25.9% and trucking down to 25.3%. Under our government,
thank you,
we are
Minister.
back on track
the time for answering the question has expired. Senator Sinodinos, a supplementary question.
First supplementary, Mr President. Will the Minister advise the Senate of the next steps in Operation Budget Repair?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. Of course, firstly, this government will continue to be totally committed to do everything within the law to stop the boats, and that will continue to help us save taxpayers' money moving forward. Money that, because the Labor Party has suggested that they will again do what they did in the Rudd and Gillard years, that they will again dismantle our successful border protection policies, taxpayers across Australia will again be forced to pay for the budget blowout after budget blowout to fund the cost of porous borders under a future Labor government, if it ever were to happen. And of course, this government this week will put forward the Labor budget measure from the 2013-14 budget not to proceed with the second round of income tax cuts linked to the carbon tax, because this government got rid of the carbon tax altogether. We know that Labor will bring the carbon tax back, and we will also put the changes to the pension asset test to the Parliament in this sitting fortnight, and we look forward to the support of the Chamber.
The time for answering the question has expired. Senator Sinodinos,
supplementary. Will the Minister advise the Senate of any alternative approaches to repairing the budget?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr President. Well, I regret to say that there is no alternative Operation Budget Repair from the alternative Prime Minister. The alternative Prime Minister does not have what it takes to repair the budget, the same as he does not have what it takes to keep our nation safe and secure. Now, Mr President, in fact, Labor's budget black hole keeps increasing. Today, Labor added another $2.4 billion to their budget black hole. This is undermining our economic security in the same way as Labor in the past has undermined our national security. Because of course, what Labor is suggesting, Labor is now against an increase in the pension for pensioners with comparatively fewer assets, and they're against returning the pension arrangements for pensioners with significantly more assets on top of their family home to those arrangements in place for most of the period of the Howard government. That is reckless and irresponsible. Labor should actually get out of the way.
Thank you, Minister. The time for answering the question has expired.